Hi, everyone. My name is Melody Ocasio, and I'm your host for Opt-in. Today, we have an interview with our fourth year student at Southern College of Optometry. His name is Colin Simmons, and he's just going to be telling us about his externship in the Day in the Life series, where we're bringing our last student here to just give us the do's and don'ts in and out of their last year here in Optometry School.
Hey everybody, Colin Simmons here from SEO. Super excited to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Perfect. And so we ask every person who's come on this podcast so far, just basically asking about your study habits, because I know from undergrad to now, they've probably changed, added, what is your basically perfect form of studying now that you've balanced boards, classes, and patient interaction?
Sure. Yeah, it changes from undergrad to professional school, like you said. I'm a morning person, so at school, like first and second year, we would have class around 8 a.m. And I would get up at like 5:45, 6-ish, which sounds early, but once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. I would kind of, look over things for an hour or so before classes started. That way, at the end of the day, I wouldn't feel overwhelmed. I would say you have to find what works for you, definitely. Get in a routine. Don't take in too much. Like set time aside. What I would do is I would set time aside where like I know I'm going to study from 6 to 7 a.m. That way, when I'm in class, I can focus on class. When I'm in lab, I could focus on lab. And then after, I would work out or something like that. So I would say don't overwhelm yourself and kind of get a schedule and get in a steady routine for sure.
And then how do your classes work now that clinical experience is your main objective? Because I know once you transition from your first 2 years to your last 2 years, you're going to be obviously just more interaction with patients. But most people just don't understand that the fourth year is the externship and you're just in different locations. So how does that work now?
Sure. So, like you said, it transitions more being didactic first and second year. So, first and second year, you're in class the majority of the time. Like how we broke it up was you're in class in the morning and lab in the afternoon. And then third year, it kind of changes. That's when they kind of switch you over to more of the clinic aspect. So, we would have class every morning from 8 to 10 a.m. And then, like 3 days out of the week, we would be in clinic from like 10 to 6 ish. So, we were only in clinic 3 days a week, third year, because they left you time to study for boards, which is nice. Now that I'm a fourth year, the whole fourth year is an externship rotation. So how SCO does it, we have 3 4-month rotations, and it's broken down just like a school semester. So there's a summer semester, a fall semester, and a spring semester. So we're basically in clinic 8 to 5 every day, no classes at all. So I'm done with all the didactic stuff. It's just clinic now from here on. And how SCO does it, we pick 2 extern sites to go to. So like in the summer, I was in a small private practice in Arkansas. I did that for the summer rotation. And then in the fall, I went to the North Little Rock VA, and that was a 4-month rotation. Now the spring semester, I'm back at school. So kind of like the home stretch, I'm finishing up at SEO. So it should be nice.
Perfect. And then is it true, like once you kind of get past the didactic things, it just kind of gets more real and essentially not easier, but just, I guess, easier, like if you want to say, because you know everything essentially, you're just applying it now.
Right, definitely. I would definitely say it gets easier. First year, I would say is probably first and second year is super comparable. Like first year is harder, I would say, because you're doing like the science, the optics, more things like that. In second year, it's tailored more to optometry itself. So you start learning about specifics of optometry, like anterior segment, posterior segment. So you really hone in on more what you're going to be doing as a second year. And so I definitely think second year gets easier. And then when you get in clinic, you're kind of putting everything together. So it gets way more exciting. First year, is kind of a struggle in a sense. And then you get to do what you really want to be doing, which is taking care of patients. And they kind of bring that in second year. And then third year, it gets a lot easier. Aside from boards isn't the easiest thing ever, but I
Yeah.
would definitely say, yes, you're right there. It definitely gets easier second and third year, I think. Yeah.
And then explain to me sort of like a day in the life of exactly what an externship is like, because now that you are seeing patients, is it just more clinic 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.? Like, how does it work for you?
Sure. So, what SCO does, and a lot of optometry schools do, is we get to pick two of our rotations, and one has to be at the school. So, one has to be like a private practice type setting. And I'll just kind of go through each of my like rotations if you want. So, the summer semester is where I chose my private practice, and you're basically just going off the private practice schedule at that point. So, I was like 8 to 5. Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, we got off at like 2 p.m. So it was super nice. And how they had it set up, I got my own schedule of patients. So I saw like anywhere from 10 to 16 patients a day. And I would see those patients on my own. And if I had a question, I would just come out, grab the doctor, and they would help. It was super easy. And then at the North Little Rock VA in the fall, how we did it there, I was there Monday through Friday from 7:30 until 4 p.m. So it was super nice. I was seeing that was my institutional rotation. So one has to be a private practice, one has to be an institutional, which is like a hospital type setting. So that was super nice. That was more like school. I would go in, see a patient, the staff doctor would come in, go over everything, and kind of assess the situation. That was cool. And then now that we're back at the school, it's basically Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, like you said. What's nice about the school is we switch things up. So it's not the same thing every day. I'll kind of tell you how my schedule is. Monday, I have low vision in the morning. So I go in, I'm in a low vision clinic, helping out older patients most of the time that have like end stage macular degeneration, glaucoma. We're just helping them see better with various devices such as telescopes, things like that. And then Monday afternoon, I go into VT clinic.
Mhm.
Tuesday, I'm at an off campus site. It's called University Eye Care and Focal Point. So it's more like a private practice type setting. And then Wednesdays, I'm in ocular disease. So ocular disease, we're basically working with a lot of glaucoma patients, macular degeneration, red eye type stuff like herpes simplex is a common one that we see in there. And then Thursdays, I'm in peds clinic. So I'm seeing kids all day, anywhere from 1 to 12 years old. And Friday is a contact lens clinic. So on Fridays, we're fitting soft contacts, RGPs, which is like a hard contact lens, sclerals. We call those specialty fits. It's for patients with like keratoconus, for instance. So good thing about school is you get to switch it up every day. It's not like the same thing every day, which I find pretty nice. So I kind of broke mine up. You can do the school rotation any semester that you want. I kind of wanted to take a break from school right after third year and kind of go off and see how it was at different places and then finish up at school. So, so I could take advantage of my experience at school basically. So it's been nice. I like that I broke it up like that for sure.
Very good. And then now that you're just approaching like home stretch, like you were saying, do you plan on doing a residency?
Yeah. So that's the plan right now. I've been on the fence for a while. After optometry school, I'm going to go back to a private practice in Arkansas. I have some family there that has a private practice. So I kind of know that job is going to be there. So I don't have to rush out and jump on that opportunity. So I have a unique opportunity in that sense. So I thought I might as well take advantage of it and apply for residency and see what happens. So I'm applying for an ocular disease residency. It's at the Memphis VA here. And I've always heard, really good things about the Memphis VA and the residency there. Like most doctors say, like a residency isn't going to necessarily make you or break you, but they also say like no education's wasted. So, I think it's good to kind of refine your skills and you kind of get to subspecialize in a sense by going into a residency and really hone in on what you're interested in. So.
Okay, very good. And then just looking back at your 4 years and just giving advice to any like incoming students, did you think that a certain club or just, certain, activities in your school like allowed you to just grow as a student, or would you recommend anything like starting off as a first year?
Yeah, as a first year, I would say definitely get involved. It makes you feel like you're more a part of the school, and it just kind of it lets you interact with your peers and just makes for a better overall experience. I know when I was coming in, all the fourth years were like, it's gonna go by so fast, in the blink of an eye, you'll be out of here. And it really does happen. So I would say, just get involved, get in a routine and find friends that you can study with, etc. I was in a few different clubs. Like we have at SCO a private practice club where they have someone in private practice come speak to you about, how the real world goes basically. And we also have a thing, I'm not sure if other schools do this. It's called ambassador, a student ambassador. So we have 10 ambassadors for each class. And basically what that is we help like incoming students kind of navigate their way around the school when they're coming in. We help them once they get accepted to kind of adjust to their new life in optometry school. So I got involved in that. I'm a student ambassador for our class, and that was super great meeting the incoming students, kind of, being an ambassador to them when they come in, showing them around, showing them how things are done there. So I would definitely say, get a good support group around you and get involved in as much as possible that, is not too much, obviously, but it's good to be involved in various things that makes you feel like you're more a part of the program. And, like I said, don't overwhelm yourself for sure. Kind of get a schedule down and be sure to take breaks. Like it's always important to have scheduled breaks, like have a weekend where you're not going to look at anything and have fun in the new city that you're in or with your new friends. So there's some advice that I would give for sure.
Very good. And then in terms of just advice you have for first year students, and maybe even more specifically for just like approaching boards, because I know that not a lot of people just quite understand the process, how you're balancing something that if you don't pass those, you don't really get to practice. So it's very important to your future career. So do you have anything advice on that?
Yeah. So boards was stressful for sure. I would say, so how it works kind of is part one is taken in the middle of your third year. So in the spring of your third year, actually. So March, it'd probably be like in the middle of March, third year. That's part one. That's the toughest part of boards. And part two is taken in December of your fourth year. So I just took part two. And then part three is taken in your fourth year. You can take that at any time in your fourth year, basically. So part one's like didactic. You're going all over everything that you've learned, which is probably why it's the hardest. Part two is more like a case-based type exam. They give you some cases. You tell how you would treat the patients they present. Third, part three is like it's like a practical, basically. You go in and you're doing an exam on patients. So for part one, that was definitely the hardest. I would say in your first and second year, you can prepare by, it seems cliche, going to class most of the time, if not every day, and really learning in your class, not just trying to listen so you can make a good score on a test, but really learn the subjects that your school is teaching you, because they'll prepare you well enough to pass part one. It's just whether or not you want to, put in the time or effort. And it's easier to do that first and second year as opposed to getting behind third year and really having to catch up. So I would say definitely pay attention in class, first of all. And then when it comes down to studying for part one, like I said, we take it in March. KMK, they have a really good, it's kind of like studying for the OAT. We started in October, and it's like a book, and they have some videos. So I would start early. I started in October. That's when they recommend to start. Some people wait until like January. Some people start earlier than October. I would do right exactly what they say. Start in October and don't overwhelm yourself. That's a big thing. Just knock out little chunks at a time and you'll be good to go. That's what I did, and it worked out. It worked out fine.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Colin. And anybody that was listening today gets 10% off their OAT exam pack. Just use code OPTIN. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.